AITA for sticking to the financial rules my husband made years ago. Obligatory throwaway. When my husband R and I first moved in together, we started putting a percent of our earnings into a joint account to cover rent, bills, etc. He explained he had a side business and insisted that his money from it was his for his personal use. I was fine with this arrangement. The first few years together, he was doing pretty well, in the realm of 300 to 500 pounds per week. However, over the last couple of years, it's really dropped off. He's had a few issues with orders and demand, but whatever the reason, he's been getting maybe up to $50 on a good week, often nothing. Meanwhile, I began my own side gig last October, which really took off to my great surprise. When I started, I said that I would use any profits I for fun experiences, thinking it would be a couple hundred a month. I'm around the 8,000 mark for sales, of which I've used to fund family days out, make birthdays and Christmas a little grander, and I've also put down a deposit on a holiday, which R was completely on board with. But now R is getting bitter about how well I'm doing. He'd made a few snide comments, but now it feels like outright disdain. I bought our son an iPad for his birthday this week, and this sent my husband over the edge. It's unfair that he hasn't bought himself so much as a new video game in months, but our son gets an iPad, etc. Tonight it turned into a fight about how I'm buying all these lavish things when he can't afford them anymore. He told me that because I'm now getting all this extra income, I should be putting more into our joint account so that he can keep more of his paycheck for himself. I must stress that all our bills are covered, and he does have money each week left over from his salary. It's only been since launching that I've had the ability to splurge, whereas previously I had to save for bigger things. So I refused. He had set the rule that his side earnings were just for him, and it's only fair that the same rule applies to me. There were months where he was making thousands a month and we never changed our budget. I've spent years watching him buy new computers, consoles, an ungodly amount of money on card games, and I've never complained. It's not reasonable to try and change the rule now that it doesn't suit him, and it's not like he's not benefiting from the experiences in holiday. He tried to argue it was different, but couldn't say how other than he hasn't made that sort of money in ages. I stood firm in my no. He called me a few choice names and stormed out. I know what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, but I just kind of feel bad. There were times where I was jealous I had to save for months for things he could just buy outright. So I empathize, but I also wonder if I'm jaded now because of it. Like maybe putting an extra 100 into the joint account would be worth avoiding the argument. AITA for refusing because of the rule he established years ago.